Hi lovelies, I'm back. So as you know, yesterday I did a few videos on the operation and unboxing of my new Keurig 2.0 that Keurig sent me to review. And as you also know, I found that you cannot use anything but the this type of a Keurig cup that has this little line around it that says certified Keurig brewed blah blah blah. Those lines are either going to be white, pink, or purple, pale lavender, whatever it is. This includes all these that I have that are actual Keurig cups, not usable. So just so you can catch up and see what's going to happen, if I put one in this one actually says Keurig on it. It just doesn't have a Keurig logo. It says it over here real small, approved for Keurig brewers only. So when I put that one in, this is what you get if there's nothing in there. If there's no pod, it'll ask you if you want to brew water. And if you hit cancel, it's going to go back to the home screen. So it's not even reading that there's a pod in there with this one. If I put in a non-Keurig approved, which I told you about my community coffee, which is my favorite coffee from Louisiana that I found down south, you're going to get the oops message. This pack was not designed for this brewer. Try one of the hundreds with the Keurig logo. Okay. So if I take that out, now I'm actually going to take one that has the approved Keurig logo. You can clearly see it's got Keurig on it. This is pumpkin spice. And if I close that, I get the same oops message. So I got really frustrated with this because I have like hundreds of K-Cups. So here's what I did. I went online and I found out that there's a little bit of a go-around, a bypass. And so that's what I'm going to show you today. So you take a regular K-Cup, and I used a scissor and a carpet knife. Please be careful cutting because they make it look super easy online. It is not. This plastic is tough. My hand is sore. However, you only have to do it once. So you cut the cup away, you pull the little doodah away, and you're going to be left with just the lid. Then what I did was I took the carpet knife and I cut this so that it was as close to the plastic ring at the top as possible. And then, of course, what you're left with is just a lid with that little band around it. So my pumpkin spice is currently in there, and I'm going to show you that if I can get it to sit here, of course it's difficult, put the little Keurig lid on there, voila, I can make my coffee. So it now says it's ready to brew. I'm going to hit strong because I like strong coffee. I'm going to hit brew. And there you have it. This machine is actually fairly quiet. It sounds really loud because I'm standing right up on it with my camera microphone, but it's actually pretty quiet. So that's brewing. Now, as that's brewing, I'm going to tell you a little bit of another thing that I found. So if you look at these Keurig carafe pods, right? These are the ones that brew your whole carafe. They have a little pull tab here, and that's because these are meant to be recycled. So the deal is, the machine reads this green dot. That's all it reads. It doesn't read anything else. It just reads just that green dot. And it reads it somewhere over here. There's a sensor. So what these are meant to do is when it's cool, you pull this off. This whole coffee bag comes out. You throw away the lid in the coffee bag and you recycle the cup. However, here's what I found. You could pull this whole lid off, cut the coffee bag away. It's far easier than slicing up the plastic. Just saying. So let me show you why that's something that you need to know. First of all, I was told that if you put this on top of a Keurig View pod, now I don't have the View pods because I didn't have a View, I had a Platinum. But if you put that apparently on top of a Keurig View pod, it actually opens up all kinds of features on here that you don't normally see. But if you lift this, and I'm going to take out my little reusable lid, if you put this onto a regular Keurig pod and close the lid, it also lets you brew it. So my point being, if you have the carafe cup, you can just save one of these lids. It's way easier than cutting this. But this is a little more permanent to keep because you have a little metal ring. I have seen people online who actually cut this whole thing out and just kept the ring. You can do that as well. I have seen people who've cut it in half because technically the sensor only reads like right over here. It's just looking for the ink that's in this little band. So another thing that I have seen people do is they cut it in half. They put a piece of tape on the back, and then up in here You probably can't even see it on this video. But anyway, up right in here on this side is the sensor. And I've seen people actually tape it right over the sensor so that they can just use this over and over again. A couple things to keep in mind. I don't know why anyone would tell them, but Keurig has stated over and over again that if you do this, if you somehow surpass their DRM technology, which is digitally registered brand, that's what this is, that they are going to void your warranty. So I'm clearly not going to call them and say, hey, I'm cutting up your K-Cups and using non-Keurig K-Cups illegally and my machine's broken. What do I do? Clearly that's not going to be your best option. I don't think it's a great idea to go taping stuff to the sensor. That's just me, because steam, everything else in here, it is a sensor, it's an eye, it's all computer. I personally don't want it to stop working. So that's just me. But I don't know who would tell Keurig that they're doing this. I'm certainly not going to. There's not a little monitor in the sensor that's going to tell them. So clearly if my machine breaks, I'm just going to tell them my machine broke. I'm not going to tell them that my machine broke and I'm using illicit K-Cups. But anyway, there's your little workaround. You can use whatever K-Cups you want. In fact, someone told me that if you just cut this out and keep the ring, you can even use your little home brewer, your refillable, these things, the little K-Cup pod. So in other words, if you fill this with whatever coffee you want, sit it in, and put this on top in that brewer, you're going to be able to use that brew cup too. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, but I do like the new brewer otherwise. I like the carafe. I just didn't like that I couldn't use the hundreds of cups of coffee that I have, and now I can. And if I sound a little, jittery, it's because I've tried to redo this video 3 or 4 times. So this is like my 9th cup of coffee. Anyway, have a great day, lovelies, and hope you get to use your Keurig 2.0.